We all know why he pulled out, how Trump's London embassy scandal explains his feud with Britain. Trump's refusal to visit America's new, billion-dollar building exposes the rot at the center of the special relationship. The grand opening of the new U.S. Embassy in London, a towering, translucent cube along the Thames, began operations Tuesday with decidedly little fanfare, the latest casualty of Donald Trump's souring relationship with his British counterparts. Dramatically enveloped in undulating plastic ribbons and sequestered from the street by a 30-meter blast zone in the formerly industrial, now aggressively upscale, neighborhood of Nine Elms, the building was meant to be a billion-dollar emblem of the historical special relationship between America and the United Kingdom. Or so thought Boris Johnson, Britain's habitually inept foreign secretary. Striding around the site in December, Johnson was flush with enthusiasm. "We are looking forward to welcoming the president when he comes over here," he said, presumably relishing the prospect of securing a post-Brexit trade deal while perambulating along the embassy's moat, the first to be dredged in London for centuries. "I think he will be very impressed with this building and the people who occupy it. Indeed, there is something distinctly Trumpian in the heavily fortified outpost, with its star-spangled windows, internal gardens, and cavernous lobby. The neighborhood, too, is a real estate developer's dream. The embassy is the glittering jewel in a wider, 15 billion regeneration project, which, over the last few years, has transformed the previously shabby environs south of the river into a series of gaudy apartment blocks for high-net-worth individuals. Versace has designed one of the towers and, later this year, developers are planning on wedging a glass-bottomed pool between two others. Add some gilt plating, and it could be a Trump Tower complex. In the Trump era, of course, there are no diplomatic relationships invulnerable to a presidential outburst. On January 11th, Trump declared on Twitter that he was neither impressed with the building, nor would he be greeting its new occupants. "Reason I cancelled my trip to London is that I am not a big fan of the Obama administration having sold perhaps the best located and finest embassy in London for peanuts, only to build a new one in an off-location for $1.2 billion. Bad deal. Wanted me to cut ribbon? No." As has been widely reported, the facts behind Trump's reasoning are characteristically hazy. It was President George W. Bush, not Barack Obama, who decided to sell the old embassy in Mayfair's Grosvenor Square, which a group of Qataris are now planning to develop into a luxury hotel. Although, in truth, the decision wasn't entirely the Bush administration's either. The U.S. never owned the building, but loaned it from the Duke of Westminster. Beyond the hindrance of protracted negotiations with the Grosvenor estate, which owned swaths of the surrounding streets, the fundamental problem with the old embassy was that its finest, very central location, also posed a grave terror threat. As security was upgraded, and the storied square became littered with bollards, annoyed locals began to form a well-heeled resistance force. Russian Countess Ankova, who lived across from the embassy's side entrance, once staged a 3-day hunger strike, while a disgruntled syndicate of neighbors took out newspaper ads in protest. None of which had anything to do with Trump's apparent aversion to London, or sudden distaste for ribbon-cutting duties. We all know the reason why Donald Trump has pulled out of opening the new American embassy. Marcia de Cordova, the MP for Battersea, where the new embassy is located, told me. It's because he is scared of the reception he will get here in London. To make excuses about the new location is actually quite embarrassing, given that it is 15 minutes from Parliament. De Cordova's theory has been in currency ever since Prime Minister Theresa May, rushing to meet the freshly inaugurated president in a Brexit-induced frenzy, first extended an invitation for a state visit. Although the White House responded enthusiastically, at first, a series of transatlantic scandals paired with Trump's surging unpopularity abroad virtually ensured any such trip would never happen. "Nobody wanted you to come," observed Ed Miliband, the former Labour leader, after Trump tweeted about the embassy. "And you got the message." London Mayor Sadiq Khan, meanwhile, welcomed the president's decision, claiming that it showed he had got the message that many Londoners would oppose him coming. Johnson, counterpunching at Khan on Trump's behalf, prompted some eye-rolling from the Prime Minister's office by describing the mayor as a puffed-up pompous pipinche. But the reality is that Khan, the first Muslim to become mayor of a major Western capital, is a potent symbol of why so many people in the UK are reluctant to host Trump. The president's Twitter attack on the mayor in the wake of the London Bridge terror attack left Trump with few allies in Britain's cosmopolitan capital. His anti-Islam stance riled the British consciousness again in November, when he retweeted a handful of anti-Muslim videos posted by the deputy leader of a British far-right hate group, forcing a rare rebuke from May. It is hard now to imagine any circumstances under which Trump, who reportedly hoped to ride with Queen Elizabeth II in a gold-plated carriage, could travel to London without inciting massive protests. The collapsing US-UK relationship comes at a precarious moment for Britons, who suddenly face a future without the European Union or a dependable partner in Washington. Over the last several months, Trump has accelerated the breakup by recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, threatening to decertify the Iran nuclear deal, antagonizing North Korea, and withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord. It wasn't meant to be like this. Kieran Timberlake, the studio that designed the new Nine Elms embassy, wrote that the building's architecture aspired to set a new paradigm in embassy design by representing the ideas of the American government giving priority to transparency, openness, and equality. Instead, it has become a metaphor for the falling out between two nations that have both turned away and inward.